Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live webinar brought to you by Pursuit. The topic of today, which is a very hot topic for our current situation of small business owners, is reaching your customer through email marketing. My name is Carol O'Connell. I'm excited to be hosting this webinar, which will be presented by Eric Bunez of Endorphin Advisors. I'll introduce him in a moment. Right now, I just want to do a little housekeeping. First of all, importantly, attendees are in listen-only mode. You can communicate to me through the chat or through questions. So you can post any questions you have, and we're going to take questions throughout the presentation to be very timely. I want to make sure that everybody is seeing and hearing us. So if you could use the raise hand feature if my voice is coming out clearly and you could see the Pursuit screen. Okay, great. It looks like we're ready to go. So there's plenty of you that have joined in. So I'm going to go straight to an introduction. I want to introduce myself and Pursuit. So I am an assistant vice president for business advisory services. I provide technical resources and assistance to small business owners on your journey. Who is Pursuit? Pursuit is a new brand. We launched in February of 2020, but in fact, we represent 65 plus years of history supporting small businesses through the original company of New York Business Development, or NYBDC, and its affiliated companies. And what do? We're a mission-based, community-focused lender. We support small business owners throughout their journey. We have provided financing for startups from money as low as $5,000 and $10,000 microloans, all the way through the purchase of commercial real estate in the millions of dollars. So we are here for you, particularly during this difficult time navigating on COVID. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over my screen to Eric, who will launch, let's see, I'm going to change presenters, just bear with me, and there we go. Turning over to Eric. Take it away.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay and see my screen now. I'm Eric Bunez, and we've got a lot of really good information today to talk about in terms of email marketing and sort of how that fits into the rest of our digital marketing and really our overall marketing. Real briefly, I'm have been involved in digital marketing for over 25 years, I guess now, and we've had our own firm since 2005, and really we specialize in digital marketing and web design and email marketing and social media and advertising and that kind of thing. So we do this stuff every day, and so we've got some really good information to tell you. I wanted to just make sure everybody was aware of Constant Contact and all their new tools. I'm a longtime partner of Constant Contact, and most people know this company through their email marketing, but they do a whole lot more. It's really sort of your one-stop shop for virtually all your digital marketing needs. So it includes, posting to social media, the typical surveys and event marketing and all that, but you can also manage advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and Google straight from your dashboard. And then some newer tools They have complete e-commerce integrations. There's the shoppable or shopping landing pages you can create, and there's now a website builder that uses artificial intelligence to kind of create websites very quickly and very easily. They have a logo builder, which is free for anybody to use. And now they have a search engine optimization service that you can use. So there's really a lot happening there, and just want to make sure everybody's aware of all the things that are happening there. So we're going to talk a lot about email marketing here, and first we'll talk a little bit about sort of the economics of it and why it works and why it's important. And then we'll get into some of the basics, but then we're going to move into some more advanced things. So whether you're just getting started with email marketing or you are already doing it and looking for some tips to improve it and expand it, there'll be something for everybody. And I've got some good tips here and resources, which are all free. So you can, there's a couple of really good ebooks that I'm going to share with you.
Eric,
So,
maybe
yeah.
this would be a good time. I'd like to just take a moment and by show of hands, how many of you listening in have a business and conduct some form of email marketing, meaning you have an email list and you communicate in some way, shape, or form with them? Okay, I would say we've got about 50-50. So that's good. So it's going to kind of run the gamut. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So, why, first off, but before you start, I wanted to say sort of a quick word. So I'm a huge advocate for small businesses, and a lot of, we've worked with small businesses for 20 years, and a lot of times we hear, well, why do people want to hear from me? Or why are they going to buy from me? How am I going to compete with the big companies? And the unique part of small businesses is that often you, the owner, have a direct link to your customers. You're often the one providing the service, your customers know you. And so how digital marketing works best, email, social, anything else, is telling your story, right? Or telling your stories and helping people understand, who you are and why you do this, and who have you helped, and who are your customers, and why are you different, and things like that. So email is a great vehicle to get that information to people that you know, and so that's really important to know about. So it's pretty common to know that the number one app, phone app, is using email. And for those of you that have worked for larger companies, you know that email is used widely by larger companies, especially. Almost everybody has an email account. People may not like email. That's not the the point necessarily, but it's one of those things that's just almost irreplaceable. Social media is great, but it doesn't replace email. And again, I'm not saying you focus solely on email, but it's an important component of your digital marketing. Okay, so now there are abundant studies about sort of the return on investment of particular things, and with email marketing, for every dollar spent, you will see at least $41 in return, is sort of the average. And, that figure I've seen a little higher, a little lower, depending on industry, but, it's cost effective and it works. So I just want to make sure that people understand that, this really is something that you should be focusing some time and attention on. And there, there's more to that, and we'll get to that later on. So why does email work? Well, first of all, most of the time when you send an email, it gets into the inbox of your reader. And so, compared to something like, if you post something on your Facebook news feed for your company, very few fans are going to see that, right? Of your friends and followers and all that. Very few people. So email, in terms of getting access to the people that it does work. Okay. So there's abundant data that shows the value of email and how it improves your ability to reach and communicate well with your audience. So, for example, the number 2 there is you're 6 times more likely to get a click through, somebody to click on something from an email campaign as opposed to, for example, a tweet on Twitter. Email is 40 times more effective at acquiring new customers than Facebook or Twitter. So I'm not going to read through all these, but there's some really compelling statistics. Again, it just shows that email really works, and that's the point I want to make. That for us, for digital marketers, we always talk with our clients about sort of the main components of your digital marketing communications, and that's your website, your blog, your social media, and your email. So it really is one of those key things to use to distribute, information and offers and those kinds of things. Okay. So you can review some of those later. So let's talk about some sort of the basics. How do we get started, or if we are going, how do we sort of improve what we're doing? So we're going to talk a lot more about these steps here, but there's kind of an overview, if you will. But we want to plan for our success, and we'll talk more about that. But what we mean is we've got to set goals. We've got to say, okay, what are we trying to achieve when we send out a email? Okay, and there's lots of different things we want to achieve. Maybe it's we want to get people to buy something in particular. Maybe we want them to watch a video or sign up for a webinar or a class or whatever, right? There's lots of different things we might want them to do. And so we want to plan for that and know, okay, this is what we want to do. And then we want to design our emails and all our digital properties for today's audiences. And what that means is people don't want to, when they open an email, they don't want to read a lot of text, right? Think about your own email use. If you open up an email and there's a lot of text, you may not read it, right? People just don't want to read a lot of text. So we've got to design our emails so that they're engaging and quick and people know what to do. Again, we'll talk more about that. Create emails that drive action. Again, what do we want them to do? And let's move them towards that action. Then we need to measure our business, measure the impact of this email. What did we achieve? Did we achieve our goals? How can we do better? How can we improve this campaign, for example? And then growing your list. So growing your email list is an ongoing thing. and I'm going to talk about this more just in the very next slide. But it's not a one-time thing that you spend a little time on, get the list, and then you move forward. Okay, it's kind of a constant effort, and you want to start small, right? Don't say, well, I don't have an email list of 500 names. I only have 100. Well, that's good. We want to focus on the emails that are people that know us, people that are our customers or have, asked about things, maybe our friends and vendors or partners kind of thing. But we want to focus on the quality emails. Okay, that's really important. So don't think about going out and just throwing an email list together with all these names you just pulled off the web or something like that. That's not really going to do you much good. Okay. So here's the first resource I'm giving you. It's a great short ebook from Constant Contact with tips to build your email list. So I've summarized some of them on the left side. You can see, but there's all sorts of things you can do, and so things from having a sign-up sheet at your front desk or your at your register, or something like that. You want to make sure that you collect email addresses during all of your sales transactions. So whether those are in person or they are on the web, you want to collect those email addresses. You want to do all sorts of things with this. Okay, so here's some good tips to kind of keep you going in terms of building your email list. Okay, because again, that's a very, very important part of the email marketing. So let's talk about sort of the right message. So what am I going to talk about? So first, we're going to get a great pie. No, that we're not. But so the point of this is that we want to think about all of the content that we're going to share in our emails. 80% of it, the vast majority of it, 4/5 or 80% of our content should be like useful, interesting, valuable content to our readers, not to us, to our readers. So how can we, tell them more about us, our company, tell them more about our services, how we have helped other customers just like them, things like that, okay? And then 20%, just a very small portion of it, is promotion, right? Direct promotion of sales offers and things like that. And okay. So
Eric, if we just stop,
yep.
just to pause there for a moment, what occurred to me is like that concept is so very important right now. I'm hearing from clients, there are clients, some of our small business owners that are reluctant to do any kind of marketing. They feel it's inappropriate. Times are tough. People are worried about keeping the lights on, so I don't want to push, selling. But here, your point is like recognize what are on people's minds now. So maybe you go lighter on promotion, but it doesn't mean you stop talking to your clients. You get in their heads and see what they're worried about and provide that. That's a great thing to be doing now.
Exactly. I mean, people may not be, looking to buy more of certain things, but they still are interested in buying certain things. They will buy certain things. We are going to get through this, and and we are going to get back into some sense of good economic situation, and people are going to want to buy stuff, right? They are going to need to buy things. So whether it's for their house or buy vacations, buy insurance, buy whatever it is. So we want to still share useful information. Sure, we're not going to say, email, first of all, isn't a good tool for really hard sales, right? It's more informational, and the promotion part is really just inviting people to take advantage of a special offer, right? So you can let people have a special offer. Even in this environment, you can say, hey, well, we understand that some people are really affected by this. So, we're more than happy to give people, a free trial of this, or a free sample, or buy one and we'll give you, another free, or, buy 10 classes and we'll give you, at the price of 7 classes, or, things like that. So you are actually saving them money, right? And you're directly addressing that. We understand that some people are really struggling, and so it's still appropriate to talk to your customers. So what do you talk about? So for business owners, you get a lot of similar questions kind of over and over again, right? You get questions like, well, how long have you been in business? What do you do? What are your services? How do what's the process? Or how are you different from competitors? Or do you help customers like me, right? That's the one question that you should always be thinking about, because that's what people are thinking about. So you can turn those questions into good content, okay? So this is also great for a frequently asked questions FAQ page on your website, right? Because we want people to try and educate themselves by themselves, right? On their time, not on your time. So if we can answer some of these questions and give them access to this information, we're actually saving our own time by doing this, because we have less questions to answer. Okay. So now, kind of going back to email in terms of the email delivery of this content, right? The subject line is really important. Okay. So people really, when they look at their inbox, they really have 2 pieces of information that they can look at. They can look at who's this email from, and then they look at the subject line. So the who's it from should be very clear, right? That you should have your name with the name of the company, for example, right? It should be easy and clear to see that. And then the subject line, it should be short, catchy, encourage action. If possible, include numbers, because that indicates specificity, right? So if you say, 5 tips to buying insurance, right? If you're an insurance agent, then you're telling people that they can see 5 specific tips. If I see that, I'm going to say, well, 5, that sounds pretty quick. I could look at 5 tips. So then they'll open it. Don't say, I remember one time I got an email and it said like 101 tips for this. And I was like, really? I didn't even open that email. I was like, I don't have time to read 101 tips. So think about that. The number of like 3 tips, 5 tips, 7 tips, 6 tips, those numbers are really good and powerful, and they're very finite, okay? And then, so I know a lot of you are sitting there going, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to create all of this stuff. And so think about other sources that you get information from that you could share that would be useful. So you may have industry news, right, that you can share. Maybe you have like special guests that you interview, whether it's a written interview or a video or a podcast. And you know, you can interview customers or interview employees or interview the boss or interview, you know, other kinds of people. So, or customers obviously is a main one, right? So the other good thing is to share survey results, right? So doing surveys and getting closer to your customer and learning what's happening with your customer by doing surveys is very useful. And then if you can share that out, share some of those findings out to your customers, you know, that just shows you know, you really know what's going on and can be very powerful information to share. So a couple other tips, just sort of random tips here about email marketing or anything digital really. Well, actually any marketing at all is be very consistent in terms of the what it looks like. You know, your website and your email and your social media and even your business cards and brochures, they should all look similar and and consistent and so if somebody opens an email, they know it's exactly from you, right? Or if they click from your email to your website, they go, oh, I see, this is the same company, right? That sort of consistency reinforces your brand, so it helps people remember you, but it also gives them some comfort that, yeah, okay, that's the email from this company, and this is the right website, and okay, I get this, I understand this. If you sort of confuse your audience at all, they'll leave. They'll go to a competitor. That's one of the challenges of digital marketing is everybody has all of your competitors at their fingertips. So if they don't like your website or can't find your website or they don't get emails from you, they don't hear from you, then they'll go find somebody that they do hear from, that does pay attention to them a little better, right? So use visuals. So this kind of goes back to what we talked about, that especially in email, people don't want to read a lot of text, okay? So use images and use just a couple of images, okay? And then make it all mobile. Let me go back say one thing about images. Remember that people expect when they see an image in an email or on your website, they expect to be able to click on the image and then go somewhere else. Okay? So take advantage of that. And when you put an image in an email, make sure you link that image to something on your website, because we always want to get people back to our website. Okay, that should be one of our top 3 goals of any of our marketing, is drive people to our website. And that is kind of a topic we discussed in great depth in another presentation about driving traffic to our customers and search engine optimization.
Eric, that's just a great point. I'm just, thinking about my own experience, and you could tell the sophistication, of a business that has a picture, and I click on it, doesn't do anything. It enlarges. Like, well, that's nice, but then it's like, how can I buy that? And then I'm trying to find where to click. It's very frustrating. You're ready to say, I want that now, and the picture, nothing's happening.
Exactly. And that's a lost sale. That's a lost sale. And it happens that quickly, like you just said, Carol, right? You lose that 1 second and right away they're gone. They lost it, they're gone, they're not going to search for it, and they'll just go to a competitor. And you lost that. So it's that small of a thing that, and that's where digital marketing is a challenge, in that these little tiny things can cost you a customer. And if you think about your business, a single customer is worth more than just that one purchase, right? Because a customer may come to you for the next 5 years or 10 years. Think about how much money they'll spend with you in 10 years. So we call that the lifetime value of a customer. And so if you miss this, right, in the example that Carol just said, you miss that chance for that first purchase. You don't just lose the $10 or $100 you'll make from that sale. You lost multiple of that through the lifetime value of that customer, because you had that one chance, you blew it, they moved on, they're not coming back, and now they're shopping elsewhere. And so that's something to really understand, that you gotta get to these this certain level of I guess expertise or whatever to be able to compete. Okay, so let's talk about sort of the call to action. So how do we drive action in digital marketing? So this is that 20%. Man, that pie looks good. This is that 20% that we don't want to miss, right? We don't want to miss offering people the chance to get a deal, right? People are looking for deals, and especially on sort of a new and different product that they've never purchased from you, or service, or a first time buy, or sort of an impulse buy, or things like that. People are looking for a deal, and we all know that. So you really should take advantage of this. And so this idea of a call to action, right? How do we get people to then say, okay, I'm interested, to boom, here's the next step to just get that done, right? That's the call to action. So that's the link, if you will, between what you want to achieve, your goals, and achieving your results. Okay. So let's talk about this a little bit more. How do we increase that action and get them to take action? So first off, buttons. Small thing, a lot of study about this. Buttons created more than a 40% boost in clicks. So it's just, when you make it really clear, hey, buy this, click on this big old button, that drives clicks. Okay. Again, I spoke about this before. People don't want to read text, especially in their email. Okay. They want the detail, but later in the process, right? Early in the process here, you got to capture their interest and get them into that first step. So if you get the email on the left, I'm not reading it. You send me that, I'm not reading it. Send me the one on the right, maybe. Okay, so think about how you can use less text in the early sales process. Think about in emails or any other kind of content offers, narrow it down to sort of one thing. What do you do next? What do you want people to do next? Okay. Don't give them a whole lot of choices. Don't give them a whole lot of buttons to choose from. Say you want it, go here. And that will drive a lot more interaction. Okay. So for example, yoga studio, they want to engage with their, members and get them to sign up for more classes. So what do they want them to do? Get to that schedule. We don't want to send them to our home page or main page of our website. We want to send them right to the schedule page where they can actually book appointments. Again, the fewer clicks you make people make and the most direct route, that's how you are going to be successful. So that leads to a really important point, and we all know this, that if you want things to happen, you got to let people do it digitally as much as possible, right? Especially when we're talking about, if they're getting an email or if they're getting seeing a social media post or even a digital ad, right? We need that to go because people might be doing this late, after work hours, right? And so you need to make this happen for them, right? Let them finish the process online. So links are just the absolute magic sauce of your digital marketing. So for example, you might want a form. You might say, if you're interested in, in something here, fill out this form and then we'll contact you, right? Get their information, okay? Or maybe it's an event. And by the way, these are all constant contact tools. If there's an event, let them sign up and reserve a spot right there and then, right? You could even pay for it then, right? The other thing is give them a tool like this. This is a shoppable coupon where they can buy the thing right then and there, and you get the money right then and there. So we want to take it beyond just, hey, here's a coupon, print it out and bring it to the store. Nobody's going to do that. They're not going to remember. Let them buy it right then and there. You get the money right then and there, right? So this is making money while you sleep, and then they come in and take advantage of it, right? But e-commerce, we got to get to the point where we offer things online so people can get there and do it themselves and pay. It saves us time and makes us sales. And we see the importance of this even more so today when people can't really go out, right? So think about how you can sell things online, even if you sell a physical product or a service, right? Anything can be sold now and then they can get it later or pick it up later or whatever, okay? So now let's get to the part of measuring how we're doing, okay? This is really important, and it's not something that, this will set apart your success from your competitors. You can beat your competitors, and you do it with the measuring of your success. So first, you got to get a beautiful golden retriever. No, you don't need a golden retriever. But so what can you measure? Obviously we can measure the amount of sales, and that's obviously the most important thing. But for individual campaigns, we have a lot of other things that we can measure to gauge our success towards, driving our customers towards that ultimate purchase. And again, we want to keep our customers buying repeatedly. So it's more than just the first purchase. But if you look at the number of emails that you sent that were actually opened, or the number of people that clicked on a certain link in your email, right? Or the number of registrants to an event or completed forms, coupons bought. But these are all things that you will, that are concrete, that will tell you, how are we doing? What was this successful? Okay. And so then you can say, was it successful? How can we do this better next time? Right? Can we make our form better? Can we, whatever. So there's the measurement part is really one of the most important parts, because here's where you learn what works for your particular set of customers, right? So you can see, for example, this is the constant contact report page, and you can see everyone that opened your email. Okay, so you can see, did this email perform better? Did I get more opens than the last email I sent or the previous emails? Right? So if it did better, you can say, well, what did I do differently that was better, and how can I improve that? Okay. The other thing is the clicks, the number of people that clicked on a link in your email. How did I do there? Did I get a lot of clicks? Did I get people to go back to my website? Right. So we're getting near sort of the end of where we want to get to, but one sort of other thing, and this sort of the more advanced tip I want to give you, is to think about automation. And with automation, I'm meaning automatically generated emails or automatically sent emails. Okay, so just look, I'll give you some really good examples, but here's a good tip. Okay, so customers that use automated emails see conversion rates up to 50%. Okay, it means half of the people that are receiving these emails convert. They do something. They make a purchase. They sign up for an event. They whatever it is. 50%. That's huge. Okay. Automated emails get a 70% higher open rates and 150% higher click rates than your typical like e-newsletter. Okay. So why is this? Why is the automated email get so much better response when I thought originally it would get a lower response? I think everybody would think, well, if it's automatic, why would I get a better response to it? The answer is that there is context to that email. Okay, you made a purchase with this, or you did something that triggered that email to be sent. So there's context. Okay, and I'll show you 5 great examples for where you can start with email automation. And then one really important point. So I alluded to this really briefly in my opening comments, but there is a tremendous ROI that comes from using email marketing. But 77% of that ROI, so almost 4/5, but over 3/4 of the ROI actually comes from these segmented, targeted, and automatically triggered campaigns. Meaning, if you are not using this sort of automation, you're only getting 23% of the potential ROI of email marketing. You're getting less than a quarter of the potential ROI if you are not using automation. If you think about that, that shows you have to use this. You really have to use this. Okay. So
Eric,
yeah,
I'm just thinking, thinking to myself that, in fact, as the organizer of this webinar, I was sent 3 different reminders so that I didn't forget to log on and actually run the webinar. And so all attendees have received these automated messages. And as long as it resonates that, yes, in fact, I remember registering for the webinar so that when I get the reminders, I pay attention because I say, yes, that's right. I did think that this was going to be something important, and I'm glad for the reminder. So it's driving home two of the points. If I just gotten it randomly, I would say, well, I wasn't interested the first time, I'm not doing it. But so you recognize it, and then this gentle nudging and reminder, don't forget, this is, 10 o'clock is the webinar. Things, it is very powerful. It's very effective.
Exactly. And it's because of that context. So here's 5 good examples, very specific examples of how you might start using automated email. Okay. So think about, showcasing products or services that are complementary to a recent purchase, right? Think about how well like Amazon does, right? You buy something from them and they go, oh, other customers bought these, right? And you go, ooh, more stuff I could buy, right? So there's context. You bought something, here are some things that are kind of similar that you might be interested, right? So that's one good example. The second is if you get people to your website and they fill out a form and ask a question, or they download something from your website or something like that, then sending a couple of emails to just kind of thank them for that, and then responding to that, and then giving them a little bit more information sort of in a couple more emails down the road. It's got to be short, quick, little text, but maybe links to videos, links to useful pages, things like that. Okay, that's another good example. Number 3, in some businesses, the onboarding of new customers, they need some information or something like that. So that's another potential, right? Even a simple thank you, and if you have any questions, here's the contact information. That could be helpful. For nonprofit organizations specifically, providing information about the use of donations after you receive a donation. So, you receive a donation from somebody, either online or in person or through the mail or whatever, an automatic email goes out and says, thank you very much. By the way, here's a little information about, we spend 95% of the donation goes to, supporting the people we help, and 5% goes to administration or whatever it is. And then, you can give some, examples of people you help and pictures and all that sort of thing. That's a very good use for that. Number 5 is in some industries, you will meet with a potential customer potentially a couple of times before they may buy, right? Or may switch to you. So perhaps sending a couple of follow-up emails over a longer period of time after a first meeting like that might be useful. So there's a couple of quick tips. There's some other resources on our website, which I'll show you in a second, with more tips and specific things about automation. Okay, I'll show you this in a second. So anyway, so now we're kind of done. here. So just a quick review. What do I do next? How do I go from here? Well, figure out a goal for your next campaign, your next email. Figure out your call to action and all that's involved with that in terms of where the link goes, etc. And then measure the results. Look at the results. Look at that and see, how did I do? And then do it again. See what you learn, do it, reposition, and then do it again, and then measure again. And that sort of repetitive, iterative process, that's how you get better and better at doing this. Okay? So it's a matter of doing things a little bit over and over again and trying to improve. So
Eric,
yep,
if you could just go back to
yep,
those three main steps.
yep.
Because I'm thinking, I'm listening to you, such great material you're providing, and I'm thinking as a small entrepreneur, and again, you've acknowledged that sometimes it would seem that this is overwhelming. It's like there's so many great ideas. How am I going to do that while I'm running my business? But it occurred to me that a lot of people, first of all, you can get help. And obviously, we could talk about the resources where you could get help with this. It would seem that there's so many like Constant Contact, some very, very affordable software and products that can help make this go easily. So Constant Contact,
Yep.
your GoDaddies, groups that are very friendly, to the entrepreneur. But even what would go a really long way is making that investment, like a one-time investment or a check-in with an advisor, with a professional advisor, consultant for this plan. So it might not be intuitive to a small business like what that goal should be. Naively, I always thought, well, of course, every goal of an email is to sell my next product. But that is not necessarily the case. That's the end game. That's where you want to be. But that you're suggesting when you talked about goals that to leap from the first email, and that if you don't get a sale from it, it's not successful, that there's steps: engaging, opens, then clicks, right? Then following through, taking advantage of an offer, and then closing the deal. So I just think that's really cool, and that people should not just assume. Nobody assumes it's easy, but that in fact it's a failure if you don't see sales, if you embark on this and you don't see your sales go up next month. Is that fair to
Yeah.
say?
So here's along those same lines, if anybody has taken any sales training particularly from Sandler Training, which is outstanding training. They're a worldwide training company, absolutely top notch. They are the best. And so they always talk, one of their main things that they talk about is people do business with companies that they know, like, and trust. So you should focus not on sales, but on getting people to know, like, and trust you. You get that, and then you have a customer. And one of the best things that I ever heard in training like that was you don't have a customer when they buy from you once. That's not a customer. A real customer is somebody that has bought from you 2 or more times. So don't think about that first sale. If you push people into a sale, they may resent it. It may be a bad fit. It may be economically challenging to them at the moment. They may want to prefer to have looked at a few other alternatives, and they may have come back to you anyway. But the things you should really focus on are getting people to know, like, and trust you, whatever business you're in. And that's the most important thing that you should be achieving, especially in digital communications, right? The whole thing about you should always be closing and you should, just sell, sell, sell. That's baloney, I think. And I don't run my business like that. I don't operate like that. I know Carol doesn't operate like that. It's it's we're in it for the long term. I tell my customers, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. And that's a good thing. I will be here for you in the long run. That's what I want them to take away from my conversation, not that I tried to push them to buy something from me. Okay. So that I think is a good position, a good thing to think about in terms of thinking about sales. Okay. And that would then fall exactly into how do we do sales now in this environment? Well, we're not. We're just trying to get people to know, like, and trust us. And we do that by offering good information, right? So anyway, we're all done with everything here. Just a couple last resources to give you. This is another good quick ebook from Constant Contact that gives you some tips on email marketing and sort of how to do it and how to, some specific ideas that might help you. So again, you can just go to this page, click on the link or on the book itself, and you will download this book and it's free. And it's a quick read. It's only like, 10 pages, but you can read it in a half hour kind of. We have a whole bunch of other good digital marketing guides and ebooks that are available for free on our website. Some we have written, some are from companies like Constant Contact and Hootsuite and other companies. Then we offer free digital marketing consultations. So we'll look at what you're doing and give you some tips and guidance on where you can go next. And then we also offer some free website audits. And those are technical audits that we can do to help you see how you can improve your website. Okay. There's a little more information about Constant Contact and kind of special offers and stuff. Another thing. Okay. So that's it. Carol, are there any other questions?
I am not. So if anybody has questions, we still have a lot of good attendees still with us. So
Okay.
one more opportunity. Does anybody like to send Eric a question? I think the material was awesome. I would say ask you guys to continue to tune in. Obviously, you're getting our emails. That's how emails from Pursuit. So that is how you're finding these webinars. The email marketing is just one component. I mean, Eric, I've worked with him before. He'll be the first to tell you that it's almost, this is not the cart before the horse, but the importance of your brand and your presence as conveyed by your website and any other social media presence ties very much into the effectiveness of email marketing. Because you could pay and, based on Eric's advice, create an awesome email campaign. But if it all flows back to a website that is less than optimal in any number of ways, then it really defeats the purpose. So we will be offering more webinars on this, but be cognizant, thinking about what is your face, what is your public face out there and how important it is, particularly during these times. Eric and I talked about it. We understand that businesses don't have a lot of extra money lying around for marketing, but the beauty of digital marketing is it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but you want to stay top of mind. You want your customers knowing that you're thinking about them and that you're still out there and that you'll be ready for them when they're ready for you. So I think that I don't see, we have a couple of thank yous from the audience. Eric, if you would just turn back the screen. And
Yep.
I'll
Sorry,
just,
back to me.
sure.
Yep.
And I'll just
Um,
share my information as well.
yep. Wait, oops.
Oh, I can do it. Never
Can you?
mind. I'm going to, that's good.
Okay.
And I will share, I'll just share the screen a moment and show you my contact information. So please feel free to reach out to me at any time. And importantly, pursuitlending.com, our website, we have a COVID Q&A, frequently asked questions on the programs, the relief programs that are out there. We're heavily involved with the SBA in providing relief under PPP and other programs. And then also we'll be building toolkits and other resources. So continue to follow us. Thank you so very much for spending the time with us. And Eric, bravo, thank you. You're doing such a great job for this, for our entrepreneurs out there.
Thank you very much. And remember, we'll be sending a follow-up email with the recording and the link to the slides so you can see those other resources if you are interested.
Great. Okay, thank you everybody, and have a great day.